I think, Stephen, it wasn't the easiest decision that I've ever made. It was a decision that came from much soul searching, but ultimately I had to make a decision that I could live with, and it came down to a few points. And the first point that it came down to was, did I believe Michelle O'Neill? Did I believe that she was there to reach the open hand of friendship? And I have to say I didn't believe her. From my own perspective, when it was confirmed that Michelle O'Neill would be attending, my first response was one of skepticism. I simply didn't believe that she was there to remember the fallen, or that she was there to build bridges. I personally believe that she was there on the back of all the negative publicity that Sinn Fein have had over the last number of weeks. So, first of all, I suspected that she was there with the wrong motivations. So, paralleled with that is also her history, her legacy on Troubles-related issues, when she had said there is no alternative to the horrors that went on in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. And for everyone to go along and just pretend that the past didn't happen, well, I think that really flies in the face of what the day is all about. There are two aspects of Sunday that we remember. One is Remembrance Day. We remember. And the motto of that is, lest we forget. I can't forget what happened. I can't forget the injustices of the Troubles. And unless there's a genuine attempt to address that from Sinn Fein and from Michelle O'Neill and from the hierarchy of republicanism, then it wasn't an event that I could go to. And I really regret that I couldn't go to it.
But so we just, everything, if you take your thesis, everything stands still. Nobody moves on. Michelle O'Neill can't reach out to people like you or others. She can't, despite her mandate, be a First Minister for everyone with gestures, with events like this. We stand still.
Michelle O'Neill has it in her power to reach out. Michelle O'Neill has it in her power to give that progress, to give the progression that Northern Ireland so desperately needs. A few weeks ago, we were told that the IRA Army Council still controlled Sinn Fein. Michelle O'Neill has said there was no alternative but to the bomb and the murder and the mayhem that went on in Belfast. Well, the Chief Constable
has since, as you know, said that there actually hasn't been another formal assessment like that back in 2015. But look, that's been well rehearsed.
That's the most up-to-date information that we have at the minute, is that the IRA Army Council still exists and still directs Sinn Fein. So when I go to the Cenotaph, when I go to the City Hall on Sunday, I drive down the Shankill Road. I drive by the Mountain View Bar. I drive by the Biardo Bar where the bombs were. I drive by the Balmoral Furniture Showroom area. I drive by the Shankill bombing, and there was no alternative to any of that. And when I take the walk to the Cenotaph, there are little plots laid out for the various regiments of the British Army, and by far the most heavily populated area is the one for the Ulster Defence Regiment. And the vast majority of the Ulster Defence Regiment members who were killed by the IRA, quite often when they were at home in front of their children. And one of the wee crosses when I went down, I didn't abandon Remembrance Sunday. I went down after the event and laid my own wreath. One of the little crosses that was in the UDR plot simply said, "My daddy, my hero." And if I just go and pretend that everything's normal and that everything's okay, then who's going to be the voice of the victims in all of this?
Chris Donnelly?
I really don't want to get into the rights and the wrongs with Chris Donnelly of the British Army in Northern Ireland on Remembrance Day. I'm not going to get into a political debate. I'm just going to make it clear why I don't think I had the liberty to go on Sunday. And I said earlier, who would be the voice for the victims in all of this? The initial rumour that started to spread around was that Michelle O'Neill was going to go to the Enniskillen Poppy Day massacre, or the Remembrance service, which is obviously on the anniversary of the massacre. And nobody has ever known the answers to what unfolded on that day. No one has ever been questioned for what happened on Remembrance Day when that bomb went off. The families still need answers to what took place on that day to give them peace. And no one knows the answers. But the Republican movement know the answers. Michelle O'Neill knows the answers. And if this is sincere, then the metrics on how you measure sincerity is by giving closure to victims on Remembrance Day. Ultimately, the victims didn't have the confidence in Michelle O'Neill. They said they would have boycotted the event if she turned up. And I'm quite pleased to stand with the victims in all of this on Remembrance Day.
The difficulty